I really appreciate y'all allowing me to come and speak to you for a minute. I feel like I am going to be preaching to the choir. You all are obviously great leaders in your own right, or you wouldn't be in uh, the Elevate series that Tim has put together. And by the way, can we all give Tim a hand for all that he does? Uh, Tim has created this forum, uh, and I use that in a generic term for all of us to get together and share our ideas and our thoughts, and even more than that, and most of all, our friendship. But it's amazing what he has done for so many leaders, past and present, in Northwest Arkansas, and so his gifts are come right out of his heart, as y'all well know. Tim asked me to speak on, and asked me to speak for 20 minutes. So, I mean, I don't know that the uh, inauguration speech is 20 minutes. So I don't. That's why I've got a few little cheat sheet notes here, and I hope to not speak that long. Um, but you know, to be able to, he wants me to discuss leading from anywhere, and it, leading from anywhere and leading through adversity are things that I think all of us understand leading through adversity uh, uh, because to be where you are today, you've had adversity in your lives and adversity in your business climates, etc. Uh, but leading from anywhere is something a little bit different, and it caused me to think. Tim always causes me to think a little outside the box, which I really appreciate. But leading, um, uh, leading in that way is something that you, it's something that people all through, history have had to deal with. And I wanted to start off by uh, talking to you about a few uh, people that are a little more incredible humans than I am, unbelievably so. Um, you know, contrary to popular belief. I want to read a quote, and Lynn, I'm going to get you to raise it up a little higher. Teddy Roosevelt is somebody that I've admired for uh, years and years and years. Since the first time I read a book about him in high school or college. Obviously, an incredible leader, and he did it his own way. And um, uh, this is my favorite quote of all of his, uh, but it tells quite the story. Um, Teddy said, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena." Now remember that, in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcomings, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Um, it's pretty powerful and direct, in-your-face kind of stuff. And Teddy was that kind of a leader. But the point is, get in the arena. You can't stand by. Leaders are in the arena and pushing the envelope all the time. And then, of course, one of his relatives, many years later, FDR, in a way to lead his country into war and a way to lead the world into war against Germans and Japanese, told us all that we have nothing to fear but fear itself. And that can be read in many ways, but for a leader, it means, um, if you give in to your fears, you will get nowhere and you will probably be run over. Is the way I've always taken that. And then John F. Kennedy said, he said, I thought I could remember it, but I can't. He said that leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. Obviously, if you're a good leader or a great leader, you've got to be willing to learn yourself. You don't know all the answers at all, and you can't put on a front that you do know all of the answers. You must learn and continue to learn as you go through so you can lead those that are with you or that you're in charge of working with. And then, of course, Nelson Mandela, who we lost recently. Nelson Mandela, talk about leading from adversity. Nelson Mandela was in prison for 27 years, tortured, beaten, slept in a cell, with no clothes and sprayed down with water for much of the time. And through that time, his leadership was able to show through even to his jailers, even to those in charge of keeping him in jail, and even to those that persecuted him and caused him to go to prison in the first place. That's a leader, and obviously then became president of his country and became friends with those who persecuted and those who jailed. That's leading through adversity and through unusual circumstances. John F. Kennedy led many times, as many people don't know, led with horrible back pain because of his service in World War II and Iraq. His boat, his boat sank, etc., and he led his crew members to an island and were rescued. But he, ran this country many times with a cane or on crutches or in a wheelchair that many of us didn't see very often. FDR did the same thing. FDR obviously had polio, and it wasn't shown very often, but he led from a wheelchair for most of his tenure. Obviously a four-term president, the only time that's ever been done. What a leader. And Teddy Roosevelt, he would lead from horseback. He was the Rough Riders, Teddy and the Rough Riders, and he was on horseback. He would lead. You talk about leading from anywhere. He led, in Mexico on horseback. He led, the fight for our original national park systems and quite the outdoorsman, and he led wherever he was. He didn't just talk the talk, he walked the walk. Um, so uh, when you, that kind of puts everything in perspective, and kind of where I want to start with what I think is important to me. And when I think about being a leader or those that have led me, mentors that I've had, um, I, I've, in going through this exercise, it was interesting how the core values that I cherish as a leader and I hope to portray, and I'm definitely not perfect in that regard, but um, I hope to use these different four different things that I'm going to discuss as soon as Lynn brings them over here and talks to me about it. But
Read your Nelson Mandela
I
quote.
didn't read Nelson Mandela. I just talked about him. Nelson said, "It's better to lead from behind and to put others in front, especially when you celebrate victory. When nice things occur, you take the front line when there is danger. Then people will appreciate your leadership." Sorry, I missed that little issue there. I got so excited about Nelson Mandela, I couldn't stand it. So anyway, obviously we've all heard those quotes about leading from behind, and it is true that you lead from behind uh, when it's time to get the ticker tape parade, but you definitely lean in and lean forward when you've got adverse conditions in your company or through your group or whatever the case may be. Um, but what um, when I think of leadership and the mentors that I've had and the leaders that I've had and being in the business world for uh, 35 years now with Phillips Petroleum before I got into real estate for the last 30 years. I've had a lot of different types of leaders. My first leader, can't say he was a mentor, but my first leader at Phillips Petroleum was named Porky Martin, and and he said, "Just call me Pork." So I went from Porky Martin to quite a few others that were able to lead me a little bit more the direction I wanted to go, which is why I wanted to get into real estate. But as a leader, first of all, you got to be authentic and sincere, because if you're not, those that you're trying to lead or those around you, um, they'll know that in a heartbeat. They can read right through that. So, you've got to be clear about who you are. And you have to do that through some introspective thinking and just understand, uh, who you are, who your identity is, and what your expectations are, um, and know that people will know that you have your back, or you have their back, and they have yours. And so, first of all, get to know yourself. Um, Second of all, uh, leaders um, can get the most out of very little, and they love the opportunity to lead. So again, back to the fear issue. You're not afraid to lead. You're not afraid to step up. You're you're not afraid to uh, you know take what little you may have to start with and go from there. Um, you uh, when you're clear about your own identity and what you bring to the table, then and And only then can you help those around you and those you're leading learn their own identities and learn what they bring to the table and help them to move forward. And that's what you're there for. You are there to lead from within. Leading from within is very important concept to understand and to learn. You can't bring your own baggage to the game. Your own, if you if you have your own issues, you got to resolve that first. And just as you know, the overused term, but if it's true, if it's truly spoken and it fits, it means a lot. Be comfortable in your own skin. You you've got to be comfortable in who you are and what you're doing because it will show if you are, and it will definitely show if you're not. And if you're not comfortable with yourself, it will be hard for those to follow you. Before I move to my next point, I'm going to get Lynn to give me a drink of water. I'm getting a little dry. I'm on a ventilator, which is how I breathe, etc. And so the ventilator gives me breath and it dries me out. So I'm going to get a little water here. Excuse. I'm also going to pull out. Oh man, now I can talk. I'm also going to pull out my spectacles here so I can see my cheat sheet here. Man, I don't like talking on a speaker. Okay, the next thing leaders do and need to do is share their wisdom. You don't squander. It's not like you're gonna. You have things that that nobody else has or that nobody else will ever get learn over time from somebody else. But you do have experiences, and those experiences are the most valuable things that a leader can use with people they're around is their experiences. And you can only impart those experiences if you spend the time to really sit down with those around you and sincerely discuss those things with them. Because if you've been there and done it, then what a better way, or there's not a better way to teach than from those experiences and from your wisdom. Doesn't necessarily have to be from business experiences. It can also be life's lessons as well. Eye to eye, with no distractions with your people is priceless. Not only to them, but to you as a leader as well. I've talked about that many times. Tim's heard me talk about that. That if I can spend some quiet time with no distractions, talking face to face with some people around me, I feel they get to look inside me a little bit, and I get to look inside them a little bit, and we both walk away with a little bit better. We both walk away a little better off, I guess, best way to say it. Leaders are also not afraid to share their secrets, whatever they may be. Again, you can't take it with you, and so you might as well share everything that you've amassed. You're there to create. You're there to create a team, create a legacy, and I'll talk more about legacy in a minute. But so, no reason to stay quiet. Next point is, you have to embrace the lessons you learn from failure. And again, this goes back to the fear and not being afraid. And, um, you know, we all, as we've gone through our careers and achieved success, we've all had some failures. A quote that I saw from a this, from a article in Forbes from 2012 says that business should never be taken personally, or you will have an unfulfilling career. And that meant a lot to me because I can sure take some things personally, or have in my past. And so I know you've all, as you said, you've experienced that. But you've got to be able to be fearless, and you've got to be able to get in the arena and join the fray. Another great quote, and I remember this since I was a teenager. This was in the late 70s, maybe early 80s, when the economy was horrible. And Lee Iacocca was brought in to run Chrysler because Chrysler was about to go broke. Imagine that, since history is sort of repeating itself with some of the car companies. But Lee Iacocca was a great business leader. I think he had led Ford before he retired, and then they brought him out of retirement to lead Chrysler. And he was one of the first leaders of a car company to come on television and do commercials. And his famous quote that I don't know if he came up with it or not, but it was just memorable, and it brought them out of bankruptcy, or helped bring them out of bankruptcy. But his very strong words into the camera were lead, follow, or get out of the way. And that has stuck with me since my teen years. And I think he later said on 60 Minutes that his real point was the lead, follow, or get the hell out of the way. He was a very strong and abrupt gentleman that didn't hold anything back. So that's just one more point about being fearless, which obviously when I was putting my thoughts together, and I was thinking about these quotes, it all comes back to leading through what you may observe to be adversity, or not, leading into the unknown. And you've got to go into the unknown, or people like Multicraft, or people like all the companies that you all represent wouldn't be here today. Northwest Arkansas, would not be what it is today without leading through adversity and being fearless to promote this area that could have stayed in the kind of the darkness of typical southern state. The last point that I want to bring up that is very important, very, very important, is a legacy. You lead not for an event, or or for success necessarily. You lead your people in your company for a legacy. You want to create a culture and a feeling within your followers, the people that you are in charge of, the people that are your peers. You want to create a legacy that will stand the test of time. Um, you you want those who are following you to uh, continue to have the success that hopefully you've created. You want and you want their children and their children and those coming after them as the company grows to have a legacy that you hopefully will lead them to create. And company culture is something that's very important to us at our little company at Sage, and it's been important to me all my career. I was taught that in my first real estate uh, job, and I've been lucky to have mentors throughout the years that have preached that, and it's something that if you don't create the legacy, then it's all for naught. Um, the quote is about legacy that also came from this Forbes article was legacy is significance and relevance, not just success. Respect is your goal and your company's goal. And that, I think that says it all about about what you strive for as a leader, for your company or for your group, whatever that group, wherever that group may be, or for your family. That kind of covers all the bases. Um, I have been, you could take my little notes away, Lynn. I'm finished with what I was going to say regarding any notes I needed. I've been charged uh, with a mission. I've been given a second chance to um, to go through life um, with a little bit different platform than I had originally expected and originally had created. And the platform that I have now is a blessing. I'm blessed to be here, and I'm blessed to have this chair that I have been given the chance to try to lead from. And it is an honor and to be here and to be able to talk to you leaders today. And it's very humbling to me that Tim asked me to speak on this subject of leadership. But through this, it's not adversity. It's a blessing that I hope to use in a larger way to, um, teach others in any way that I can, and to lead in a way that is definitely leading from behind. But I can go pretty darn fast in this thing, so I'm not going to be too far behind anybody. Thank you. Boy, now I can see y'all. And so, the one last thing about leadership that, Marshall and Brian Shaw in the back there that work with me at Sage, and we all adhere to this, and everyone in our group adheres to this, and we've all heard it before, but, it comes into my mind a lot when we're dealing with different things at our company and different things in life. But I was told this when we started Sage Partners. I went to a great mentor of mine back in Dallas and said, you know, what would you advise a guy that's about to start his own company and commercial real estate company, because he had started two different ones and done very well. And he said, always, always, always do the right thing. And if you always do the right thing, that you know in your heart and your soul is what is right, then you're always going to be successful and you're always going to lead your people to success. And it's all about the people around you. It's not about you. It's all about those that are around you. Never, ever forget that. It's the people around you that you need to give everything you've got to, because they will make you more successful. They will make themselves more successful, and you will leave a legacy that will be beneficial to, uh, generations and generations.